At it again.
Mm.
Peace, world. How you doing, world? It's your brother Mikey Viva. Another episode of NYP Talk Show. Setting the room, setting the vibes right. We about to get into it. We got our dear guest, sister. So many titles you have. You know what I'm saying? Healer,
Okay, I like that.
divinator,
Uh-huh.
high priest,
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Ayabas, a little bit of that. Tarot reader, spiritualist, Miss Ayabas Wind. How you doing, beloved?
Hi everyone. How are you?
Oh, they'll definitely be cheering you on because your last show got some numbers. They loved it. There was some
Okay.
great comments. People like what you were saying. We received mail about it as well to bring you back. We gotta bring you definitely for a live one so we can have them interact more with you to get to know, get a feel of who you are.
No,
So,
I love that. We can definitely do a live. And I welcome the questions. No problem.
yeah, definitely. And tonight we'll be talking about divination through tarot.
Okay, great.
First and foremost, how you doing?
I'm great. It's been a crazy week. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if it's like the eclipse having to do anything with it, but yeah, and I'm just coming off of doing a big event. It's called Oracle Acts.
Okay.
It's a psychic event that happens once a month
Mm-hmm.
at Barrow's tasting room. And
Okay.
so there's a collection of psychics, tarot readers, spiritualists that come, and we're open for the community to come in and they could get one reading, they could get multiple readings, it's up to you, but it's really a night of psychic phenomena.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
do tell more about that and throughout the show so that, when
Okay,
whenever it's
great.
taking place again, people could come out and check you out.
No,
You know,
definitely.
you know, she's on point. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. She's on point. You know. So the first question we have here, we're gonna get into the basics of tarot, right? What
hmm
is what is tarot divination?
so for me, people will have their own perspective and their own experiences with tarot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think there's any right or any wrong answer. But for me, it's a tool that's used to tap into spirit
Mm-hmm.
and to generate a conversation around the person that I'm reading.
Oh.
And so it can spark conversation based on the cards that come out,
Mm-hmm.
both tarot and
Mm-hmm.
oracle,
Oracle.
because there's two different sets of cards.
All right. And Oracle, can you break it? Can
Oracle
you?
tells a story, um, and you can have oracle cards as it relates to love and relationships,
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to past lives, as it relates to shadow work, as it relates to astrology.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's so many different sets of oracle cards as it relates to self care. But
Got
then
you.
tarot is pretty much a fundamental classic standard of cards.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have your pentacles or coins. You'll have your hearts or your cups.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have your swords, um, or your the spades, or you'll have the wands, which are the
Mm.
clubs. Okay. And if you look at playing cards, because, people have been doing reading tarot through playing cards. If they weren't able to get tarot cards, they would get playing cards.
Yeah. Very true.
And so, each card within the tarot deck has a certain meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is up to the tarot reader to either use a classic historical meaning for that card and read that way,
Mm-hmm.
and or they can read the pictures, which can kind of stimulate a conversation that way. So there's so
Gotcha.
many different ways to read tarot.
Mm. So like with the spreads, right? I'm glad you broke that down. With the spreads, I have seen spreads when people do a spread of 3 or 4, right? Um, can you elaborate what that means?
So, the I I believe, and
Mm-hmm.
other readers may not believe, but that's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the spreads bring order to the cards that could be kind of chaotic. Okay.
Got you.
Because you're dealing with lots of cards in a deck. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're just pulling out cards and just throwing them everywhere, there's no order. And so for people who are a little like OCD or type A personality,
Mm-hmm.
the different spreads lend itself to having an order to the reading.
Got you.
So, you may have someone that has a certain number of cards that represent the past, a certain
Right.
number of cards that represent the present, and a certain
Mm-hmm.
number of cards in a certain configuration across or whatever it is, fanned out, that represent the future.
Mm.
And then you may have a card that represents the client, the person that's being read,
Okay.
and then a card that may represent the person that the client is coming to talk about.
All right. So you're talking that in terms of using which deck, the Oracle, Tarot, or playing cards, right?
I'm talking about the tarot deck.
Oh, the Tarot deck. All right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the tarot deck is really known for certain spreads. And so people who, are new to tarot,
Mm-hmm.
they may find um a lot of help and assistance with organizing all the cards in the deck by
Mm-hmm.
utilizing different spreads to tell certain stories.
Perfect. This is that's a perfect segue to this question right here.
Mhm.
So can anyone learn tarot, or is it only for those with psychic abilities?
Anyone can learn tarot, but in my experience, you
Mm-hmm.
can't force it. There has to
Gotcha.
be something within you that compels you to want to get a deck
Mm-hmm.
and take time out to learn the deck and learn the meanings and become familiar with it. Um,
Exactly.
and so I was never like my mother would read tarot. She read uh I Ching,
Mm.
amongst other things. And so I really didn't have an interest in tarot until I hit probably my 40s,
Mm.
at my like early 40s. And that's when I was just like, oh, okay. But before then, I was just like, yeah, whatever. I
Mm.
could have cared less about tarot. And
Wow.
I had cards and people gifted me cards. But honestly, my spirit was not drawn to the cards. It could have been the most expensive deck ever,
Yeah.
but my spirit was not drawn to picking up those cards and learning the meanings.
Really. Intuition.
And
Why was that?
I just, maybe I wasn't like mentally, spiritually, emotionally ready to handle what comes with the cards, because
I
these
got you.
cards they can become like a living thing, like an entity almost.
Really.
And so, you know, and it's a practice that it's a fairly ancient practice, okay, or it's based on ancient things. And
Mm.
so I think, yeah, you can't force it. You can't force it. And so I wasn't really prompted to learning tarot until I had a breakup with someone, um and the tarot helped me to understand what was happening within that particular short-lived relationship.
Got you.
And so that's really what prompted my interest. It helped me to like break down, dissect what was actually happening.
Wow. So you can say the tarot, the deck became, took a life of its own. How does that
Yes.
happen? How does that happen? Does it mean like the person who has the deck must bond with it and like purify it a certain ways? You know, how say consecrate it,
Yeah, I mean,
become one.
there's so many different like little rituals that people do. Some people when they get their cards, they sleep with the cards under their pillow. Some
Yeah.
people put it in a special, velvet sack and then they put crystals on it. Or they
Yeah.
surround the deck with all these crystals.
Yeah.
And I'm not minimalizing that. Um it's that you have to do what you need to do, what works for you and your
Hmm.
spirit team.
I got you.
For
I like
me,
that.
I don't do all that.
Just straight to.
My thing is that I do the readings in
Hmm.
accordance with the ancestors and with the person's spiritual entourage,
Got you. That's true.
aka their spirit team.
Uh, And that's done to for them to permit you access into the auric field, right?
Yes. I do it with respect to the ancestors. I'm a daughter of Oya.
Hmm.
Oya is the mother of the Egun, the ancestors, those people
Mm.
who are in the ancestor realm. And
Okay.
so I absolutely cannot bypass them.
I got you.
I will not make light of them. I don't play. I don't joke. I don't smoke weed. I don't take any kind of, drugs or drink, you know, um, because for me, I need to be as clear and as clean as possible when I do readings for people.
Got
But
you.
other people, they connect with spirit through smoking weed, or through a little alcohol, or
Hmm.
through, smoking a cigar. I could smoke a cigar and get into it, but that taps in to a totally different energy. And usually when I do readings, it's either at a shop, at an event,
Hmm.
at a party, um, and there's no time for unless it's like a super private reading and we have a thing and I get into it that way because the cigar smoke and the alcohol
Hmm.
start to conjure other energies.
Mm.
um and I think that's appropriate for other spiritual things, but when
I
I do
got you.
spiritual readings, nah, it's all about the cards and connecting to spirit, and for me the purest way possible.
Okay. I respect that. I
Yeah.
got you. Everyone has their rhythm of doing things, their own
Yeah,
methods.
sure.
All right. So we're gonna stick with more of the basics, but then I'm gonna go into, more in-depth questions. What
Okay.
are the what are the major arcana and minor arcana?
So the major arcana are the picture cards, the sun, the
Okay.
magician,
Hmm.
um, the death card. Those are all the cards. And then the minor cards have to do with like the Eight of Wands or the Seven of Cups. Okay. And so the major arcana indicate major events, major changes, major aspects of the person's life. While for
Okay.
me, the minor arcana represents like the little details, the little nuances, the
Okay.
eccentricities, little details, the little specifics. And when I say little, I don't mean to like minimalize what's happening in the person's life,
Yeah.
but it's all these little things that create a bigger picture.
A bigger picture. Yeah. Along the way.
Yes.
All right. So the details that we tend to overlook that result into this taking place, past,
Yeah.
present, future. Okay. That's very deep, man. I like that. Salute to you for
Mhm.
that. So, with the methods and practices of tarot, if I'm saying correct, tarot or tarot, however they put it, no disrespect. What are the most common tarot spreads?
I would say it's the Celtic cross. That's the major one.
Mm,
And then they'll do the fan out one.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I noticed, and I'm a part of a huge tarot community on YouTube,
Okay.
and the community is like huge.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the readers don't really use those spreads. Some of them do, and I think they'll use those spreads
Mm-hmm.
more so for private readings.
Okay.
Because if you go on to YouTube in the tarot community, a lot of those readers are doing general readings
Yeah.
or pick a card. So that's another spread, like pick a card.
Mm-hmm.
They'll lay out the cards like in three piles,
Yeah.
or they'll lay out three cards and they'll have people, their audience pick a card. And so they'll go through each card and explain the meaning, what's happening with that particular card. If that person picked the card, then they kind of get their answer to what was happening with them on their end.
Got you.
But a lot of the readers, they will um, um, pull the cards out. They'll pull
Mm-hmm.
the cards and they'll just start telling a story. It's like narrating a story based on what they see.
What they?
Okay.
I
And
have.
it's
I have.
either through the meanings of the cards or it's their spirit talking like, well, because I see this, spirit is saying that this, and this is happening. And because of this, then you need to do this. This person has a third party that's interfering with the relationship. And that's why there's the Three of Swords. There's heartbreak, there's cheating, there's, distrust,
Mm,
and um, so people will read the cards through pulling the cards manually. I don't do that. I, like I said, I tap into the ancestors, I tap into the person's spirit team, and whatever
mm.
cards fly out the deck, that is the spirit pulling the cards out the deck.
Ah.
And you will actually see, like, I've actually had clients be like in amazement with the force of the cards flying out the deck. Like you can actually, like, the energy and the presence of the person's ancestors and spirit team
Mm-hmm.
is palpable. Like you can feel it.
Mm.
Okay, almost to the point where you get goosebumps when you feel the energy, like the electricity of the cards jumping out of the deck,
Yeah. I have seen
with
those.
the force of it jumping out the deck.
Wow. Sorry about that, but that's deep. I have seen that done before, and I'm like, that always amazes me. I'm like, it's like someone was there, like they just slapped the reader's hand. Yeah,
Yes.
I have seen that phenomenon.
Yes.
I thought I was
And
bugging when
that
I
is
seen that.
that's what you actually witness that phenomena. It's crazy.
Got you. So, how do you choose which spread to use for a reading?
Oh, good question. So I have a number of different decks. I have a Marchetti deck.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have this other deck. It's a more modern deck. Right now I can't recall the name, but the colors are absolutely beautiful. Stunning. The
Mm.
images are stunning. And so they have so many varieties of the tarot deck. And
Okay.
so, some images are much more abstract.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are images that are very classic, traditional tarot, like that are kind of steeped in that, like kind of either Victorian period, very early on.
Yeah.
And so, it all has to speak to your spirit and to your personality, but also to what it is you're feeling for the client. So I may not read the same deck for each client. It'll
Oh,
just be a
okay.
different, like a hodgepodge of things,
Oh,
but very strategic and very calculated with which cards I go to.
okay. I got that. So, say a client comes in and be like, "Hey, Miss Ayabas, I'd like to get a reading. Are there
Hmm.
any depending on what you feel on that person with a spiritual team, you ask for permission. Do their spiritual team communicate with you, and you be like, I'm gonna use this card for you, this deck for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's certain people that come in, and after I say the prayers, like
Mm-hmm.
you can feel like the static electricity. It's like you feel your crown vibrating. The other
Mm-hmm.
person is getting goosebumps, and so then it's like spirit directs you to the deck. I have my decks like laid out, and so the spirit will direct my eyes to a particular deck. And then we'll start with that deck and then we'll work our way around. So, if the person wants to focus on love or there's love issues or, breakups and things like that, I have a ton of decks, both tarot and oracle, that will focus on that. Um,
Wow.
as far as like the content, the images, the meanings of the cards. And then there's other people that want to talk about work, and then there's people that are talking about past lives and shadow work and all of that. So, um, it just depends on the person coming in, what their energy is, what it is that they need. There are some people that are just like, look, I don't really know where to start. Let's just start with a general, and like let's like kind of like comb through it and see what we get. And so they can start general, and then all of a sudden stuff starts popping up about, you know, there's a connection between them and their ancestors in Ireland, or them and their ancestors in the Caribbean. And then, you know, there's all these other things that pop up that may be in the cards, but then, intuition, uh, you know, um, taps in, and then things start to like unravel and go into a place like you wouldn't even imagine that the reading would have gone to. And
I
some
got you.
people leave the reading in shock. They're just like, oh my God. Like I came here for one reading for, with one um thing in mind. But the spirit team takes them on another journey, on another path that they never thought they would go on.
Wow, that's
So
deep.
it's exciting. It's exciting, a little scary, um, but it's a very interesting journey.
Wow. Very deep. You know what? For those who don't know, you need to go check her out because everything she's saying, I know it's like wow, blowing your mind, but she's really incredible with her work. I've seen her
Thank
in
you.
action, and she's on point.
Thank you.
So the question I have right here is, all right, is it important who touches the cards during the reading?
Okay, you know what? Um, there are certain decks that are really only for me. And
All right, I
I
got you.
have I have a lot of decks that I created because spirit and the ancestors led me to create these particular decks. And these are
Mm,
oracle decks.
got you.
Um, and so those decks are very important to me. And so generally people don't touch them. And I don't
Hmm.
really have people touching them.
Okay.
But the tarot decks and the ones that are store bought, I don't have a issue with that.
You know.
I do cleanse the area. I cleanse the table before I start reading. I will be cleansing throughout the readings between each client. And the cards also, experience the cleansings. For me, I cleanse the decks through shuffling.
Yeah. Is there a particular way of shuffling the cards? It must be shuffled in a
I,
particular
I
way. Or,
shuffle pretty much uh I shuffle pretty much what they do in the casinos.
nice.
So my shuffling is I shuffle fast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying prayers as I'm shuffling,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm cleansing the deck of the energy of the person that I read before.
Yeah.
But then I'm also inviting the energy of the person that I'm reading that's in front of me currently.
Mm.
So you can use Florida water to cleanse your deck. You can use cascarilla, which is the powdered eggshell, to cleanse your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will smoke it with sage or palo or palo santo.
Mm-hmm.
Those cleanse it with crystals, whatever it is that works for them.
To
I'm
cleanse
not
your
knocking
cards.
anybody in their practices, and I don't like when people come on to different platforms and they start, you know, um, speaking badly about other readers and what they do in their practices. And they shouldn't read the card this way because the card means this. Yes, there
Mm-hmm.
are standard meanings, but, you know, readers read the cards intuitively.
Yeah.
And some people just lay the cards out and they don't even use the cards. The cards are used as a physical action and
Mm-hmm.
in a way a spiritual action to tap into spirit, and then some people just like go off you
I
know
know.
off of what
Oh,
the spirit is telling them in their head,
definitely
because they're
telling you a story.
clairsentient, they're clairaudient, they're clairvoyant, whatever it is their special clair is, they start
Mm-hmm.
going at it.
That's a fact.
Yes.
Yo, you're so detailed, and I'm glad how you speaking. You don't come on here as an authoritative figure for the
Yeah.
culture. You speak as a practitioner from your
Yes.
perspective and what you have learned and studied, and I like that. There's no ego with you, which is dope.
A- and like I said in previous podcasts
Mm-hmm.
and videos that I've done with you, I
Mm-hmm.
stand by that. Where there is ego, there is no spirit.
Oh my God! You know what? Hold on. We gotta give you. We gotta hold on. We gotta give you this, and we gotta give you this right here. We gotta give you this. Bombo what you said was so true because there are a lot of peoples that I say peoples. Here I go. There are a lot of people out there that do act like authoritative figures, and they try to say this is the way we do it. This is the way we stand on it. Listen, there is more than one way to skin the cat, and we
Yes.
could all view one picture and have different perspective. What
Light
may
to
work,
you. Light.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
What work for you may not work for me. And at the end of the day, I'm not here to bash you or take you down. Just
Pache.
as long as you're not out here scamming people, it's
Yes.
all good. Because there are a lot of scammers out there. Like
Exactly.
I being that you make your own deck, tarot deck, right? I was thinking about that facetiously, joking in my head, like what? I'm gonna get me some Pokemon cards and start doing start
Look,
doing.
yeah. I mean,
Let
look,
me
if
stop
you
it.
love Pokemon and Pokemon is your shit, like that's your thing.
You know what
And
I'm
you see a
saying?
Pokemon, you see a Pikachu, and the Pikachu tells you that this person's going to win the jackpot or going to break up with their boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah.
Look, I'm all for it. If that
Pika
works for
Pika.
you,
Let me stop messing around before they think I'm losing my mind. And that's dope. So I have the other question I have, like, should you ask yes or no questions with tarot?
well, some people have tools
Yeah.
um, within the tarot that certain cards mean a yes. Like I would venture to say, like if they get the sun, of course
Yeah.
the sun means yes.
Got you.
But if they get the devil, I would venture to say that if the person, asks a yes or no question and the
Mm-hmm.
devil pops up, it would be literally hell no.
Got you. Ooh.
But I incorporate other things. I can do the shells, and I have other tools where I ask yes or no questions
Oh, with the other tools. So through
with the other
divination.
things that I have. Yes.
So can you
Uh-huh.
just briefly touch on those other things that you use for divination?
It could be coins,
Mm-hmm.
shells, and I have a god brother of mine. He's an Omo Ogun. He's been a priest for like 14 years, but he's a hoodoo man from Savannah, Georgia.
Shout out to him.
He is, training me on how to read bones,
Chicken bones.
chicken bones. Yep.
Or
Yeah, because
that's
he's from the South, and a lot of the root workers and hoodoo workers, they made their own little divination tools from chicken bones and like, odds and end pieces, like a dice, or
Yeah,
a piece of metal, or a coin, or a key, or you know what I'm saying?
coffee. I seen it done when people in my family use a cup of coffee, like the grains in the bottom of the cup of coffee. They use that.
Yeah, a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
There's so many different methods. Like I know, like in one of the events that I was at, there's a chick that reads beer foam, the foam of the beer.
I heard. I heard people have spoken about that. The beer foam, like they, they look at how it foams up and how it cascades. And I'm like, that's
Yes.
deep. That's deep right there.
And I think this lady, she is from, I believe she's Ukrainian or
Word.
Russian. She's either Ukrainian or Russian. And so that's her deal. Like she does that. I don't know how good she is, but there's people that go to her. There's another woman I know who she reads your purse and or your wallet.
Really?
She goes through people's purses and starts pulling out stuff of their purses and starts reading them through reading the things in their purse.
Wow. Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's sound like some like FBI tactic. They like what
Yeah,
what's
for me, like,
yeah,
no, I'm not doing that.
like
But look,
personality.
people get creative, I guess they get bored, and it's like, and that's why, like, for my readings, I do a mix between oracle and tarot, because sometimes just doing tarot can be boring.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
So I
So
like the oracle because the oracle like fills in the gaps. It makes the story of this person richer, you know,
mm,
um, vivid, more vivid, okay? And but it also again, it prompts like a deeper conversation with the person and with the
gotcha.
person's spirit team.
Mm. So with the interpretation of that, right?
Yeah.
How does astrology relate to tarot?
In some cases it does, in some cases it doesn't. So when you get cups
Mm-hmm.
in the traditional tarot, the cups represent water. And what are the water signs in astrology?
Yeah. Like water sign, what?
Cancer,
Scorpio, Pisces.
Scorpio, Pisces.
Yeah.
So there is some connection there, if you want to, because some people, clients come when they, get readings, they want to know, well, who's involved in this? Who's the next man coming? Who's the next woman coming in my life? My divine masculine or my divine feminine?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be a Scorpio? Are they going to be a Leo?
Mm-hmm.
And so, sometimes, though that those tidbits of information are important for the person. And so you can,
Mm-hmm.
incorporate astrology in that. But astrology in and of itself, that right there, it's really an intricate, complex
Mm-hmm.
science.
Yeah.
Um, and I give respect to those people who do astrology.
Yeah.
Um, but and I'll incorporate a little bit of astrology, but like my deal is connecting with the ancestors. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Reading the stars and the configurations, like Ryan and
Yeah.
this the like that's not my deal. Like,
Your
and
natal birth chart. What's your
yeah,
birth chart? The time you were born, and
I
which
can't.
angel walks with you.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I'm not into that. What phase of the moon? Certain aspects of the moon. Yeah, that's I can deal with that. But like all this conjuncting and it takes a special person
Mm-hmm.
who has an affinity with that particular spiritual science to study and get involved in. And I know some people that are very, very good. There's this one Haitian chick that I know, and she's nice with it. She's in Crown
Mm-hmm.
Heights. And
Mm-hmm.
her readings are like deep.
Mm.
And so, and I think she may charge like $200 or $300 for an astrology reading, like a full, like comprehensive,
Yeah.
layout. But that's not my deal. I don't do that.
I I know about those astrology readings. Shout out to I ain't gonna say my brother name, but he have done those, and they are very deep. Like it taps into like you said, the configuration, the constellation. It also
Yes.
involves some Kabbalah,
Oh yeah.
72 angels, which archangel was born which archangel was present at the time you were born.
Okay.
And it was so deep to a point. I even went out there and I purchased this book because I'm always showing books on here, and these are things I study. It was this book right here. I don't know if they can see it, but the
What's the title of the book? What is it?
the Science of the Kabbalah by Lazare
Oh, okay.
Lemaine, and it goes deep in about the 72 archangels and the hour and time you were born,
Okay.
which which, because every hour has a particular angel for that hour, the minutes. It plays a major part. The month you were born, even down to the day.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep, and I was like curious, and like I wanted to inquire more about that, so I went out there and got that book.
Okay.
So yeah, for those who want to know, go check it out. How do you know if a card's meaning is literal or symbolic?
I think it's just tied into the conversation.
Mm,
So if I get the sun card for one client, the sun could be new beginnings. And usually with that traditional card, they usually show like a toddler or a young infant riding on top of a horse, and then the sun is in the background. But for
mm-hmm,
another person who I've had the conversation with about pregnancy and fertility, that came up in the oracle cards, and then
mm-hmm.
she gets the sun card
Yeah.
and then informs me that, oh, okay, like a baby comes soon, the baby's coming soon, a pregnancy, a birth
Mm,
announcement, and so it's situational.
got you. Got you. All right. I like that.
And no
Cantar.
two readings are the same. No two readings are the same. Like every reading, it's like it is a special prescription. It's tailored. It's like, you know how people, like men, go to get their like suits fitted and
Yeah.
tailored, and it fits every muscle, every curve, every angle. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So just like that happens with the readings, both oracle
Mm,
and tarot. Like everything is tailored especially for that person.
got you. Got you. All right. So we'll go more into the dimensions of it, like the spiritual and psychological dimensions of this tarot reading.
Okay.
Can tarot reveal past lives or karmic patterns?
Tarot can reveal past lives and karmic patterns.
Mm-hmm,
Um, I don't particularly work with past life things, but there
mm-hmm,
have been moments in the reading where
mm-hmm,
spirit prompts me to be like, look, this is a karmic partner. This is
mm,
someone from your past life that you're reconnecting with.
mm-hmm,
Okay. And there are people that specialize in past life and shadow work and all of those things. But it just depends on, like I said, the energy that the person is reading with. And there's a certain combination of cards that could come out. That could talk about that. Like the Six of Cups usually talks about someone coming in from the past, either
mm,
someone that you knew um, in the recent past or in the last 10 or 20 years, or a childhood friend. Or sometimes the Six of Cups can mean that this person is from your past, like past life. But it
got you.
depends on the other cards that come around it as to whether you go that far back.
Got you. I like that. Being that you mentioned shadow work, right? Can tarot be used for shadow work?
It can, but there are specific decks that are shadow work decks that
Mm,
are much better.
got you.
Okay, for that kind of work. Um, I had thought about doing shadow work, and
Mm,
look, I got a shadow deck, and I was really like looking at the deck, studying each card, trying to like get in tune with the deck. But my
mm-hmm,
spirit team, my ancestors, my spiritual court was like, no, no, and hell no.
Oh,
So,
got you.
yeah, because when you do shadow work,
Mm-hmm.
it can go real deep and real dark.
Oh,
And some people are built for that,
yeah.
because once you go into someone and you help them to excavate this, and that's the word I want to use,
Mm-hmm.
excavate,
Mm,
and do like an archaeological dig of
yeah.
what is happening in, deep in their soul, deep in their spirit, what is motivating them, what is prompting them to behave this way, to act this way, to why are these outcomes happening in this person's life. It
Yeah.
can go so deep that it can get very sinister and very dark.
Really? Yeah,
Oh,
because
yes.
you might unearth something deep within a demonic
Hmm.
force.
Yes. And let me tell you, there are certain tarot decks. I think Aleister Crowley.
Oh,
Um,
that dude right
there
there.
is, you know about that person, right?
That dude. Ooh, I had a few of his
Yes.
books. That dude was serious.
Oh, yes. And we like in the shop that I work at. There's a lot of material on him. There's some tarot decks,
Mm-hmm.
and someone had gotten me a deck, one of his decks, and it looks like very artistic and some abstract kind of images.
Yeah.
But I looked at it and I started like looking through each card. And as I looked through each card, there was like this dark feeling that I started to feel. And I was just like, yeah, no. And I politely gave that deck to somebody who wanted it.
You couldn't deal with
So
Crawley.
yeah, no, no, I'm not built for that.
I know. I know. I know.
But there's people that are. I'm not knocking it, because we have people coming into the shop
Hmm.
like on the hunt and the search for this man's material,
Yeah.
books, tarot
Yeah.
cards, and all that.
He was something else. Like the dude was really profound, like dedicated to what he was on a quest for. Like he traveled for this, he invested money, his time, but it was his intentions that were off to me, like the deviant behavior, you
Yeah,
know.
I'm not knocking it. Like
Mm.
I'm not knocking like his passion for what he was doing.
Yeah.
But there was also something else that was like propelling him to go
Hmm.
the route he went. And so, again, like sometimes people are driven by darker forces, by
Yes.
darker entities that could be possibly ancestors, that could be spirit guides,
Hmm.
possibly, or spirits that you picked up along the way because you were dabbling in something that lent
Yeah.
itself to those spirits. Let's just put it that way.
It wasn't meant for him. He opened too many doors. It
Oh,
wasn't meant for
yes.
him. Being that we speaking about opening doors and portals, did you get caught up in that portal opening yesterday for 999?
Let me tell you, when
Yeah.
I worked that event, there was a ton of people. I was booked the whole night.
Hmm.
People were coming back to back to back to back. And
Hmm.
pretty much 90% of the people that came to me
Yeah.
had the birthdays of 999 or multiple nines in their birthday.
Yeah. 'Cause that was yesterday, and I know people were
Super
calling me.
powerful.
Yeah, they were doing all kind of craziness. I mean, I took time for myself to sit in my room to meditate, but I had people
Okay.
calling me. I'm gonna do this and that. People trying to do elaborate things. I'm not knocking them. I'm like,
Yeah.
to me, the most powerful thing is the most simplest to me.
Exactly. I don't pay attention to the portals. Like
Yeah.
in August, I'm a Leo, so it's the Lions Gate portal,
Shout
eight
out to the
eight.
Leos in there.
Yes, I'm a Leo, yes.
Yeah.
But and I don't get caught up in the portals, but there was something with this particular portal yesterday. In the readings that I did,
Mm-hmm.
there was this massive otherworldly energy that
Mm.
how do you say, prevailed over the readings
Mm.
that I did yesterday, and like it left people. like in awe when they left out of that reading.
That's what's up.
And
You
I don't take um I don't want to say responsibility. I don't It's the spirits doing the work. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I like about that modesty. I always tell people that.
Yeah.
Don't say thank you, man. Let this
Yeah.
it's the higher power at work, you know,
Exactly.
because we don't operate with ego. And that's what people don't understand. We don't
Exactly.
deal with ego over here.
Uh-huh.
I'm not an ego. I don't believe whether ego was good or bad. I just don't want that in my vocabulary or near with my cipher. I don't want that ego around. Period.
It's a dangerous thing. I understand that there's certain occupations where, ego comes into play. Like, I used to sell I have a multi um I've sold millions of dollars in real estate in New York City, brownstones, condos, co-ops. And I
Mm-hmm.
was in real estate for I think over close to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you gotta have a big head. You gotta be aggressive, you gotta be assertive, you gotta
Mm-hmm.
get deals done, and you gotta flex. And when you flex, there's ego kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and a place for that. But it's almost like for that, it was a show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I was dealing with like big brokers, but when you deal in the world of spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
that right there, you must be humble, especially
Exactly.
um, if you are selected to do spiritual work for people.
Mm.
It's very important because if the ego precedes, pro, yeah, if the ego leads the person, then you got to question whether is it this person talking or is it really the cards talking.
Got you. That's that's deep right there. How often should you read tarot for yourself as a tarot reader? Say if you want a reading. How often?
Look, I'm going to say it this way. Reading yourself with tarot cards, it
Mm-hmm.
helps with learning the cards.
Mm.
I get that. But you have to be in the right space emotionally and
Mm-hmm.
psychologically to process that information that comes out in the cards.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
these cards could fall and they can hit you with a real truth. You could think your relationship is going fabulously, and then the cards start falling out. You get the Three of Swords, you get the Ten of Swords, you get the
Mm-hmm.
the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and those are
Mm-hmm.
all indicating heartbreak, treachery, all kinds of stuff. And
Mm.
so at that point in time, when those cards fall out, and the Devil card, and the Lover's card reverse. All of
Mm-hmm.
those cards are indicating in that particular reading that there's some shit going down in your love life. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not as perfect as you think it is. Someone could be stepping out, and there could be a side guy or side girl, a
Mm-hmm.
third party interference in the relationship. And are you ready to accept that? And how are you
Mm-hmm.
going to deal with that?
Mm.
Okay.
So
And
as
if
a
you're
reader,
not in the right, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead. You
And
was
if you're
cooking. Go
not
ahead.
in the right state of mind to
Mm-hmm.
understand what that message is or interpret it, then you can take it the wrong way and run with it.
Mm-hmm. Drive amok, be going nuts out there, right?
Yes. And that's why, as a reader, if people are going to be doing readings for others, you got to make sure that your spiritual hygiene is on point, that you
Mm-hmm.
cleaned yourself, that you prayed, you meditated before you read that person, because you don't want your stuff to
Mm-hmm.
interfere with their stuff in their reading.
That's a fact. That does happen, and
Yes.
and we call that like a shock in French. We call it back shock or retour, mean backlash. Cause that happened to me before. When you doing stuff for people, or you helping somebody,
Yes.
whatever is on them, that residue will come back to somehow latch onto you.
Yes.
And it's like to get rid of that because people come with their craziness, they psychological issues, they inner demons, sometimes ancestral demons.
Yeah.
It latches onto you, their craziness. Because you know that there's a lot of people that run to this kind of things that have psychological issues too.
Well, I understand that because either one, they don't trust traditional therapy or psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever that is. And
Hmm.
especially, I can understand in communities of color where there's just a distrust in general historically with
Hmm.
medical practitioners.
Hmm.
Um I get that. And then other people are just like they need their spirit to be fed
Hmm.
because they're so in the earthly plane and the material plane that they feel like they're a hunger for something spiritual. And so that's when they come to people, readers,
Hmm.
to get spiritual work done, to get spiritual readings done, because that in a sense feeds their soul, feeds their spirit, even if it's just for those moments, you know
Mm.
and it could be kind of an escape for other people as well. It can help them to visualize through fantasy. They can bring something that was in their mind into reality. It can the spiritual readings can help to
You know what?
materialize things for
You
people.
you just took that question. I was going to ask you that. Can tarot be used for manifest or set intentions? And you just basically answered that.
That isn't that
You
crazy? And so
see the
that lets you
monitor.
know, like, we're on the same frequency right now.
Can tarot predict the future or only possibilities?
Um, I would say yes. And so usually when I do the readings, I preface the readings, even when I do my general readings online on YouTube. I preface
Mm-hmm.
the reading like, look, this reading can cover the recent past, what's happening now or in the near future. And the
Mm-hmm.
energies that result in this reading can last for several days, several weeks, or several months, depending on how fast or slow the energy is traveling through the person's chart
Wow. Really?
or spiritual energy field.
All right. With that being said, how can the people reach Miss Ayabas Wind?
So, people can email me at Ayabas, Ayabas, Wind, WYND, 999 at gmail.com. Or
Mm.
you can DM me at Ayabas Wind, the same thing, no apostrophe.
Mm-hmm.
And just put in a request
Mm-hmm.
to access my IG profile because I have it private right now.
Yeah.
And then I'll accept your request and then, we'll have a conversation.
And to be more detailed, say when you go there, say that you watched her on the NYP podcast. There go brother Ron. Peace to brother Ron
Hi,
in the building.
how
Peace,
are
peace.
you?
I
I'm
like
good.
the hat.
I just came to check in. I just came to check in. I had to get a hat like yours, right?
Oh, see.
Just came to check in. Peace to
Oh, you
everybody.
guys are twins.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
right.
know with the hat, right? Yeah. You see, I got to fit it today, but
Yeah,
that's another.
Nice.
yeah. I just came to check in. Thank you for coming out this evening. I'm out of here. Peace.
This
Bye.
guy, this guy, man, yeah, he came to check us out definitely. But I'm happy that people could go out there and check you out because you're dope. I
Thank
appreciate your
you.
work and your time. And with that being said, before we get up out of here, man, Miss Ayaba, I want to dedicate this for you, Miss Oya's child right here, right? Oya.
Yes, I'm a daughter of Voya.
We gotta. If you could hear that,
I hear a little bit like,
I got turned up for you.
oh,
I
I'm
don't know.
familiar with her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
For all
man.
my children of Oya out there, hit me up if you need any, support. You have any questions for all the viewers. I am open. You could check out my YouTube channel also at Ayabas Wind. I haven't posted recently, but my playlists are very interesting. I
Definitely
love
check
it. Yes.
check her
DJ
out.
Selector. Yes.
I'm trying. Shout out to the EFA people. Shout out to Santeria culture. Shout out to
Yes.
the Palo Mayombe. Shout
Yes.
out to the Lokomi people.
Yes.
Shout out to my Haitian voodoo people. Shout out to voodoo in the continent.
Sakpase.
Sakpase, Aibo. Shout out to the 21 Division
Aibobo.
people. You know what I'm saying? I can't forget. Shout out to the Sanse people. Anybody that the Sanse. You know what I'm saying?
Sanse. The
Sanse, Puerto Rico.
Paleros, the Tatas, the Yayas,
All of that.
the
All
Babaloshas, the Ialoshas,
yeah,
the
all of them.
Aleos that are coming up. They're working the way to getting Santo.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Who else
Peace
is
of the
out there?
gods
The
and
Akan
earth.
people, huh?
Yeah, I say peace of the gods and earth. Shout out to the Moorish
Peace
science
to the
temples
yes.
and the why. My people. Y'all
I
gotta,
love it. Yes.
yeah. I believe you shot somebody out. You said the Econ.
The Akan people, yeah, the Akan they practice in their own way as well. So like I don't know all the specifics of them, but I want to give them a shout because I know that they do exist out there. I know there's a large community in Brooklyn.
Definitely. All right then. With that being said,
Yeah.
NYP. Peace to my listeners, my followers. Don't forget to share, subscribe. We got super chats. Spread the word. NYP, we here. We love y'all. Ayaba, I appreciate you, my sister, for coming out. Peace and love.
We're gonna do the live next time, right?
Oh, definitely. We gotta do a live, yo. Y'all gonna ask her
Yes.
questions. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna set y'all straight. Peace and love, and we out.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Ciao.
Ciao,
Bye.
love. Bye.
Bye.